Do it.
Hi, my name is Rachel McDonough, and this is my friend. Hi, I'm Savannah, and we're here at the beautiful Madison Square Garden for the big fight, and you are watching True School Sports.
My flow, my show brought me the dough, that brought me all my fancy things, my crib, my cars, my clothes, my jewels. Look, homie, I done came up and I ain't changing. You should love it way more than you hate it. Oh, you mad? I thought that you be happy I made it.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, words to my brethren all around the world watching this video. Hope you're having a great day today. As you're tuning in, make sure you do yourself a damn favor and hit that subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. Now, interesting things coming out of the junior middleweight division. Eddie Hearn stated on Boxing Scene recently that he is open to the idea of matching Liam Beefy Smith, coming off his win against Sam Eggington just last weekend, with Jermall Charlo. And before I get into the quotes and what he said, let me just say this, okay? If that fight were to happen, and I highly doubt it would, because obviously Jermall Charlo is an Al Haymon fighter. Eddie Hearn has had a history of trying to sign the Charlos, and that didn't pan out. They're very happy with Al Haymon. So I don't see them coming over to DAZN to help them, help DAZN build its platform. I don't think that's going to happen for Matchroom Boxing USA and DAZN. Just saying that's my humble opinion on that matter. But let's get into what Eddie said in regards to this fight with Liam Smith and Jermall Charlo. He said, I quote, "I'd like him to fight Jermall Charlo. He'll go into the top 5 with the WBC. When you look at the world champs, it's a very difficult division. He's fought Haymon in a great fight. Jared Hurd's got 2 of the belts, and the other champion is Tony Harrison. So there are no easy touches, but I think there are some big, high-profile fights out there for Liam Smith." So before we get into what he said, let's just take a good look at the 154-pound rankings right now as it stands. So right now, if you look at the WBC, Liam Smith is not currently ranked in the WBC. Jermall Charlo isn't ranked number 1. So if he did fight Jermall Charlo, it gets him closer to a title shot with Tony Harrison being the number 1 ranked guy. He's not ranked at anywhere in the top 15 for the WBA. Charlo was ranked number 3, so gets him closer to Jared Hurd. And then also Charlo, let's see, is he ranked in the IBF? He is not ranked in the IBF. And in WBO, Liam Smith is ranked number 13. So you have some interesting fights out there for Liam Smith, that being one of them. And I'll just say this about that fight, look, let's have it right. All right, Jermall Charlo, he's a solid fighter. When he started training with Derek James a couple years ago, and he started knocking out the likes of, he knocked out Erickson Lubin, which is a great win for him. Knocked out Erickson Lubin, knocked out Charles Hatley, and then stopped John Jackson. But I said the whole time, throughout that whole title reign, I said, look, Jermall Charlo, he's looking impressive, he's winning his fights, but there's going to come a day where he fights a good, skilled, experienced boxer, and they beat him. And that happened to be his last fight against Tony Harrison, a guy who I was saying in the whole build stuff, I was a very live dog, had the skills to beat him. It was just a matter of, did he have the stamina to go to 12, and he did, and he beat him. So I think with him, his aura of invincibility, his aura of being this guy who's not going to do his out left, right, and center as champion, it's gone. And when you fight a guy like Liam Smith who's been in big fights, been there with likes of Canelo, Haymon, I don't think that Jermall Charlo is like levels above Liam Smith. I would favor him for sure, but I think it'd be a good fight if it ever came about. But honestly, I think it's just a move by Eddie Hearn to try to lure Charlo to DAZN. I don't think it's typical promoter tactic where basically you talk about guys from other promoters or networks and see what happens. You just throw it out there and see what happens. Honestly, I think there's 2 fights that Eddie Hearn can make easily for Liam Smith that would be better than, not be better, but be more makeable, and they would still be good fights for Liam Smith on DAZN. And those 2 fights are, number 1, Kell Brook. Obviously Kell Brook is in an interesting place in his career, where obviously for him, the big fight for him that he really wants for his career is that legacy fight with Amir Khan, which has lost a lot of its luster, but it's there. It's something that he wants for his career. And then aside from that, I could see Liam Smith fighting a guy like Sergio Garcia, a guy that, if you don't know, he recently had a fight against Ted Cheeseman on DAZN, a guy who was a highly touted British, 154-pounder. and he absolutely obliterated Ted Cheeseman. And Sergio Garcia is a guy that Eddie Hearn believes can go be a world level fighter, a guy that can be challenged for world titles. And you know, Sergio Garcia is a guy that's training under the great Sergio Martinez at his gym over there in Spain. You know, there's kind of a bit of a renaissance going on in Spanish boxing. So he's one of those guys leading that, being the flag bearers for that. And I think that'd be a good test for Sergio Garcia, you know, to see if he can hang in there with a world level opponent. Because he already shown what he could do against a guy like Ted Cheeseman. Absolutely thoroughly outclassed him. So against Liam Smith, I think that'd be the ultimate litmus test for Sergio Garcia. So, and not even just that, it makes sense from a WBO standpoint, because if you're Liam Smith, you know, Garcia's actually ranked above Liam Smith. He's ranked number 10 in the WBO. So winning against Sergio Garcia puts you back up more in the rankings, and it gets you close to maybe getting a rematch with Haymon, who Liam Smith had a really good fight with. You know, he was, you know, very durable in that fight. He was very, he was a tough out, and he gave Haymon, I would say, his second toughest fight of his career. His toughest being over Haymon was his last fight against Takashi Inoue, which, you know, I thought Inoue beat Haymon by the skin of his teeth, but it was a good fight. So, yeah, is it going to happen? No. There's no way in hell that a Charlo, either one, whether it be Jermall or Jermall, is going to go to the zone and help Eddie Hearn in any way, shape, or form, because that's not what they've been doing so far, and it doesn't look like they're going to do that. So yeah, there's a lot of big fights out there for Liam Smith. I would even throw in Jeff Horn's name into the mix. You know, Jeff Horn's a guy that's ranked by the IBF. He's a guy with a name. So in chronological order, you got Kell Brook 1, Sergio Garcia 2, and then Jeff Horn 3. Those are the 3 fights to me that make the most sense for Liam Smith moving forward in his career. He's coming off a very dominant win over Sam Eggington, which I expected, because Sam Eggington is a fantastic European level fighter, but he's not a world level fighter. He's not a world level contender or anything like that. So the levels showed on the night, and we saw that Liam Smith was a lot better than his former sparring partner. And yeah, so you know, Liam Smith, looking forward to seeing what happens next with his career. You know, he's always a guy that's in exciting fights, who gives people, you know, good value for their money. He's a guy that's former world champion, a guy that, you know, if we look at his career, he's beaten some solid fighters. You know, Liam Williams, you know, been there with like Haymon. But you know, as much as I like Liam Smith, and you know, he's given good accounts of himself in the Canelo fight, he gave a good account of himself in the Munguia fight. You know, he's never really beaten himself too many world level opponents. So if he's a world level fighter, he's a world level fighter by the skin of his teeth. But I think style-wise, he can match up well with Jermall Charlo. And if that fight were to happen, it'd be really good. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Eddie Hearn open to making a Jermall Charlo versus Liam Smith fight at 154. I like to see it. I think that'd be a good, you know, for Charlo, that'd be a good comeback fight. See how good he really is, because Liam Smith is like, you know, the bare minimum for being a contender at 154. So if he can look good in a fight like that, I think that would be a statement moving forward for him, because he's coming out of a fight where he got outboxed at Tony Harrison. And mentally, you gotta be led to believe that he's not the same, because when you see the Charlos talk these days, they don't even talk with the same conviction they once had, and that goes for Jermall as well. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, like I say in every single one of these videos. You can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.
This is Chick Shane Mosley, and you're watching True School Sports. All right.